What does it mean to be a beginner? Well, first off, it's not a downgrade. It is simply an awareness of where you are in your physical journey, in your fitness journey, in your nutrition and training journey. So don't look at it as a downgrade. Don't look at it as being a negative. Just be aware of where you are along your path. What first happens when you become aware of your beginner status is that it opens you up to a wide world of possibilities when it comes to what you can consider as exercise for your day. Movement becomes something as simple as walking for 30 minutes, doing a yoga session, doing some push-ups and air squats in between work meetings, lunch breaks, work breaks, whatever it is. That can be your movement for the day. That's the nice thing about being a beginner. Another great benefit of being a beginner is that you progress quickly. So over the first year or two of your beginner into intermediate status, you'll see a lot of amazing things happen. Great changes in your body composition, in the amount of weight you can lift, in the way that your body responds to resistance training, both in your exercise sessions, also nutritionally, hunger cues, all kinds of beautiful things happen as you become aware of that status and then start to embrace it and really dig into what it means to be a beginner. How do you know if you're a beginner? Well, there are some pretty simple metrics that I look at when I'm bringing on an individualized client on whether they're a beginner, intermediate, or an advanced client. A beginner is somebody who, we're playing with trucks over here. A beginner is somebody who hasn't exercised in a traditional sense or on a program consistently for a long time or a long period of time in months or maybe years. So you're coming off the couch. You're walking out the door into your first session in forever. If it's been 6 months or more, it's not a full reset. If it's been 1 to 2 years, you're basically starting from scratch. If it's been 2 or more years, you're for sure starting from scratch. And again, there's no downgrade to that. That is just being aware of where you are in your journey and embracing that fact. Not letting your ego get ahead of you and put you in a position where you become too sore to continue, discouraged by not seeing results, or discouraged by not hitting numbers that you think you should be hitting. What are some of the metrics I use to determine if someone's a beginner? Well, first off, I look at a simple movement, the forearm plank. If you're unable to hold for more than 30 to 45 seconds, certainly less than 60 seconds, I would put you most likely into a beginner bucket. The plank is not the end-all be-all, so I would also look at the push-up. Are you able to do 1 or 2 or 3 full strict push-ups from lockout to chest to ground all the way back to lockout without having to go to your knees? Another metric would be the box step up. Are you able to step up onto a 20-inch box or bench or chair using one leg only without any assistance from either your hands pressing onto your leg or without having to bring your other leg up onto the box to continue to help standing up? Another metric would be the air squat. The main thing I look for in the air squat is range of motion and mobility. Are you able to get into a full hips below knees, hips below parallel, full depth squat without assistance and without any major pains, strains? If you are able to get into a full depth squat, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not a beginner, but that does put you a step ahead when it comes to mobility and range of motion. These are just a few of the metrics I use in individualized design to determine a client's beginner status. There are others that we dive into, but these are great ones that you can do at home to see where you are. In the daily grind, we've got most days at least 2 versions, sometimes 3 versions of the same workout. The full send, which is exactly as I want it written, as I expect a intermediate to advanced athlete to be able to complete, with equipment, without worries of having to substitute a lot of movements, being able to complete most of the movements as written. The Equipment Light version is mostly for those people who have limited equipment. 1 dumbbell, 2 dumbbells, a kettlebell, maybe a couple of bands, maybe a wall ball. And inside of those versions of the workout, I will write a version of the daily grind for one of those specific pieces of equipment, either a dumbbell, a wall ball, or a band. Those are pretty similar, pretty standard equipment for most home gyms. So if I have determined that I am a beginner athlete, congratulations, that's the first step in becoming mindful and aware of your own abilities or lack thereof. And it gives you a great opportunity to start progressing forward, knowing where you are right now. If I am determined to be a beginner athlete, then I will most likely look at the Equipment Light version of the workout, of the daily grind, or the no equipment, no problem version of the daily grind. First and foremost, I would look at those because I know those are simplified. I don't need a lot of equipment or any equipment at all, which usually means I can just move my body through space. And as a beginner, that's what I'm looking to do. I just want to get movement in. I just want to feel good. I just want to sweat and increase my heart rate and my respiration. And either one of those versions is a great option. Sometimes the full send version is also a good option for a beginner, depending on the workout. So it does not hurt to look at all three. But if I were a beginner just getting into the daily grind, been a long time since I've exercised, I would certainly start with either the no equipment, no problem version or the Equipment Light version and start diving in there.